Hi, my name is Matthew George. I'm a Marquette intern and sports performance coach, and my presentation is Ultimate Frisbee. So this is Jesse Schaffner, and some people ask me, hey Matt, what's Ultimate Frisbee? A couple things about Ultimate Frisbee is it's a non-contact sport. There's 7 people per side, and there can be upwards to 15 to 18 people per team. So that's something that we're going to be taking into consideration when we're coaching. It's also played indoors and outdoors. So this is just a little highly schematic drawing of what it could look like on a field at any point in time. One thing that's very interesting is there's no offsides. So this is one thing. So the blue team is the one with the disc, and the red team is the one defending their goal, which is up there. So this is the vertical stack in the middle. So this is, you can kind of think of it as a line of scrimmage in football. The marker is the person in red who is blocking the handler. He's the person with the disc. One thing that's very interesting about this is that the marker is slanted on very slightly so that the handler cannot throw it to the break side. So the handler is now forced to throw it to the fore side. And coincidentally, all the red players are on the side of the fore side. So as you can see here, blue player is going to start at A, go to B, so he's going to try to get past that red player, but even though the red player is in a better position to intercept that disc. So he's basically, it's going to be a bunch of doing like going from the vertical stack to the fore side and just continuously going around in circles, and you're going to wait in the vertical stack until it's your turn. Or the handler can find a way around, do like a lateral lunge, find a way around, change his position to the break side. And if he does get into the break side, that's a perfect way to advance up the field. So this is Marquise Brownlee. He's a great professional ultimate Frisbee player, and he is also a YouTuber with over 8.5 million subscribers. Watch the different positions he's in. Very interesting. A lot of agility. Yeah, so that's Marquise Brownlee, very inspirational ultimate Frisbee player. Yeah, one thing I noticed about that video was there's a lot of lunges. You know, there's a lot of reverse lunges. There's a wide range of positions you're putting your body into. Triple extensions, a bunch of things like that. So having 18 people on a team can get very hectic in a weight room, as we all know. Programming off season is typically going to be 9 weeks throughout the fall. The fundamentals, we're just going to go down to the basics, because a lot of these ultimate Frisbee players actually have not weightlifted before, specifically for their sport or in general. That's something I noticed going to a Birdhouse, which is the Marquette A team for the Marquette Ultimate Frisbee team. He's on bird feeder, he's on the B team, but he's still very good. He's also a power lifter. So we're going to be working with low intensity weight training just to get these student athletes in shape and in ready for the season to come. And if it's their first time weightlifting, they'll get their proper fundamentals and roots down. So programming preseason is going to be a little bit more. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be 7 weeks, and throughout these 7 weeks, we're going to teach them the fundamentals of bench, squat, and deadlift. And we're going to make sure that they get those down, and that's really what's happening in the off season. But this preseason is going to be ramping it up a little more. And the goal by the end of the preseason is to finally get their 1 rep max down on the board, along with their jump mat testing. So these are going to be a couple of the a couple of the pointers that we're going to take into consideration when we're determining if they're progressing throughout the season or not. So we're going to be using 1 rep max, and in preseason as well, we're going to be doing a lot of dexterity work, prehab, because if we go back to Marquise Brownlee, he was jumping a lot, getting in very low positions. Even though it's a non-contact sport, it only takes one bad fall to ruin your career. So we're definitely going to work on that external and internal rotation to make sure that disc, to make sure that their shoulder is in proper, like strength and all that, and we're going to make sure that their ankles are prepared to take that fall if they have to. So programming in season is going to be a little different. This is, again, Jessie Schaffner. She's a really inspirational ultimate frisbee player, and especially in the LGBTQ community for ultimate frisbee. So programming in season is going to be 12 weeks with 2 taper weeks. Now those 2 taper weeks are going to definitely be revolving around the regionals, April 13th to April 15th, and conference, which is April 25th. Birdhouse recently just had their conference, and they went 1 for 3. Beating Whitewater, University of Wisconsin Whitewater. So we're going to be focusing definitely on more conditioning, which they're going to be getting out on the field, but a lot more dexterity. That's what I was trying to get at, the dexterity work, because they're going to be getting that conditioning running back and forth down that field. At this time in the season, we're going to be trying to work out 2 to 3 times a week. That's the goal, while the rest we're going to about be 2 weeks. And yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of triple extension work, prehab. We're going to be doing a lot of still bench, squat, deadlift. Make sure that they're all primed and ready for their season. Another thing that we're going to stress is sleep, hydration, and nutrition. So a couple fun facts about Ultimate. There's no referees. Instead of any coin toss, they have a rock, paper, scissors at the starting, which is very interesting. And it's also called Ultimate. It's not Ultimate Frisbee. The Wamo Toys is just like a Toys R Us company. They trademark the names. It's actually only called Ultimate. My thoughts about the sport. Being there, I took this picture at Marquette's home field for Birdhouse. A lot of people on the field, as we can tell too. So that's definitely something we're going to take into consideration. My thoughts about this sport is that the community of it is just so amazing. The fact of just everyone together, you rarely see any bad encounters on the field. I saw someone roll their ankle in practice. It looked pretty bad, and 3-4 of them sprinted out there to help them out, which was just a very heartwarming anecdote that I had. The community is just such a great atmosphere. Being a co-ed, having co-ed leagues is very cool as well. Being a powerlifter is a co-ed sport as well, so I had that guy and girl different interactions, and I think that's a really great thing, and it's an up-and-coming just a type of way of playing sports. It's also hoping to make its way in the 2024 Olympics, which is going to be great. Thank you for watching me, and if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Yes, Jackie?
So you mentioned that you're going to test for their 1 rep max.
Mm-hmm.
Do you plan on doing that multiple times throughout their post to in-season training, or are you just going to do it the one time?
That's correct. So it's going to be starting off with the preseason after they get the fundamentals down on the off-season, and at the end of the in-season is going to be the next time that we do the 1 rep max attested. One thing I wanted to stress there is that we're going to be working with percentages in our in-season training, and we very need to have that 1 rep max the preseason, so we know what we're getting ourselves into with these athletes in the in-season. And yes, we will be having it at the end of in-season too.
So there's obviously, like from the video, there's a lot of accelerations in just accelerating from point A to point B, and then also from leaving the ground, jumping to intercept or catch or whatever. But there's also a ton of like decelerations in changing direction or landing from the catch or whatever.
Yeah.
So how would you incorporate kind of decelerative emphasis in your training type of thing?
Yeah, going back to the triple extensions that we were talking about, one thing I want to really incorporate with these athletes is box jumps. I feel like box jumps are a great idea for working for acceleration and for deceleration. Like if you're familiar with like a drop from the box jump to a side shuffle or whatever, so that can work on the deceleration part. That's a really good question to talk about the deceleration. That's something that is very crucial in ultimate frisbee too, because you're going at high speeds like that. So one thing I'm concerned about is especially that. So the ankle prehab is one thing I'm taking into consideration heavily, because I feel like that would incorporate into helping with the deceleration and prevent injury.
Mm-hmm. And then on that point, with like ankle prehab work and any kind of stability, balance, whatever it might be work, when would you typically do that in a session? Would it be a session all by itself? Would you do that at the start of a strength session, or at the end of a strength session, or in the middle? Like when do you see like prehab work typically happening in your program?
Great question. So I was bouncing around with this idea a lot. A couple places I'm considering about putting it is between our heavy sets, so between squatting and another additional movement, I might put in some ankle prehab just to work on a different aspect of your body before going into another heavy set of squats, so we can do a superset along the lines of that. Or I was thinking about putting it at the end of our exercise along with our foam roller series and our mobility work. So there's a couple of different ways we can put it. Primarily it will be put at the end of the workout, but we can also definitely incorporate it during the workouts to keep the student athletes not so drained after their sets, and give them something else to tackle while they're recuperating from taking a heavy set at squat or deadlift.